Okay, Tony on, just make sure you hear the audio, okay? Okay. See, join us. Virtual Summit now. So I'm gonna take you off stage and I'm gonna bring Tony on, just make sure she good with her audio, okay? Okay. Where are you going? Are you coming back? Welcome to the Lyrical Meditation Cipher Podcast Virtual Summit. We have 3 days. Yesterday was the start with Sancho Brown, sacred movement coach and all around brilliant badass. And tomorrow is Takia, Coach Takia, masterful healer. And today, Polaris. Polaris is the gifted MC and one of the dopest MCs I know in the world. She's also a brainiac who understands a lot of things that I don't. And so I'm always in admiration of this woman whose freestyles go beyond most others. Polaris has a book called Raps and Rubik's Cube, and we've convinced her to share some of her knowledge and insights in a session. She's a co host of the Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast and a friend and a sister, and I am so proud to introduce her to you. Y'all ready?
Greetings, salutations. Can you hear me all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Outstanding. Hi.
Yes.
What's up? What's up? So I am Polaris. I am the gifted MC. Gifted is an acronym. We'll talk more about what the letters stand for momentarily. But in the meantime, I have discovered a love for Rubik's cubes. If you know me at all, you know that I'm an MC. You know that I rap, and so you know of my affinity for this hip hop thing. But in the last couple of years, I've discovered the joys of Rubik's. So before we get to that, let me tell you a little bit about myself, just in case you don't. So my name is Polaris. Once again, I'm from the Bronx. I have been living in Vegas for about 8 years, and I am an educator. And one of the things that I'm most passionate about in education is not genius. So when we have some conversations around what genius looks like in our youth, we're always trying to figure out what it is that they can tap into to make sure that they're not leaving anything on the table and that we're actually siphoning the greatest version of themselves into their educational experience. What that looks like for us as creatives, though, looks slightly different. So I'm going to ask, and please comment in the chat, when is the last time you felt like a genius? And I'm looking for those in the chat and in the comments. When is the last time you felt like a genius? And if you're on IG, please post there too. Attention. But when is the last time you felt like a genius? When is the last time something flowed so naturally for you that you were like, you know what? I know this thing. While the comments are coming in. So for me, the last time I felt like a genius, um, well, the last time it really hit was when I actually figured out how to solve this cube, right? So what were you doing though? What were you doing when you felt like boom, light bulb moment? So for me, it was this. Now I got to tell you, I did not know how to solve a cube. I had no clue. Last time I played with it was when I was a child, probably like most adults. And someone gave me a box of them for a program I was running at the previous school I worked at, and I think this would be good for you to use with your scholar. Like, it would I know I can solve one. So my family can attest to the fact that it took me probably 2 months, but, like, 2 months of I slept with the cubes in the bed, ridiculous, because I was so determined, and it taught me how my own mind works, and I was it was one of those moments where I was like, "You know what? I don't even know." Like, I said to myself, "I'm not a math person," right? And then something clicked, and I was like, "Oh, this is math. This is what it looks like," right? So I see a couple of folks. Every time I work out, I feel like a genius. Last week, teaching math to my 3rd graders, I felt like a genius. Outstanding. What is it in those moments that makes it click for you? My guess is that I believe that it's just because it feels so natural. The thing that your genius lies in is very natural to you. So a lot of us as adults, we spend a lot of time, energy trying to do what made us happy as kids. So my guess is you're a teacher, you spent time teaching your siblings, or you spent time teaching your, I'm actually gonna the live, I think it's causing some distortion. Uh, will you post the link so folks can join live? Will you post it in the chat, and I'll post it over in IG over there? Um, but yeah, so the genius for me came in my ability to teach my students how to do the Rubik's Cube. And then I thought to myself, how many other things are really on the table? Educators who as access to these creative spaces. So if you work a 9 to 5, do you feel like a genius in your 9 to 5? Do you feel like something that you have the space to be creative in your 9 to 5? That's a real question. So as an educator, I had that space, but I had to create it. It did not exist innately. So what I mean by that is I came across a lot of educators who told me, I play instrument outside of work, or I sing, or I play music, whatever. And so I was like, well, how much of that are you using in your classroom? And so many people were like, what do you mean? So here's my philosophy. I believe that your most divine self lies in your creativity. The highest version of yourself relies in your creativity. Excuse me, lies in your creativity. So, for if you are a creative or consider yourself creative, and your creativity may come in cleaning, the form of cleaning, like you do it unlike anyone else. That's your source of genius. Why are you leaving that on the table? Why are you not tapping into that in all areas of your life? When I learned how to do that, it created a whole different dynamic between students, between me and my coworkers, between me and the people in my life, because I spent so much time trying to figure out myself from Polaris. Polaris was that person on stage. And now it's like, no, 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 you can be an MC and an educator, and 2 things can coexist. And as such, I feel so much better moving into spaces that require me to be my 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 creative genius. I told you we would get back into, what the GIFTED stands for. So GIFTED is an acronym, and the acronym is, growth, intention, fundamental, talent, and education. These are the spaces I operate from. There's always room to develop and grow. You have to move with a level of intention that makes sure that you achieve your desired result. Every time you are in doubt, you revert back to the fundamentals. Go back to everybody has of talent. Don't tell that never. And education, constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly moving in a trajectory that leads you into places like, you know what? This is it. And then when you hit that this is it moment, what's the it and the it after that? So here's what I'd like for you to do. I'm gonna put in the chat a link, and I want you to click over to this link. Oh, I can't click it there. So if Takia, would you put that link I sent you earlier in the chat? All right. So I have my cube here. In the chat, there is a link for you to do a virtual Rubik's Cube. And when you tackle this, all I want you to do is hit the button that says scramble and try your best to solve one side. That's it, just one side. You only have 2 minutes for this task. 2 minutes. In that time, I will solve my cube, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna ask what your process was. Think through your actual process. How are you approaching this task? So Takia asked me if I had some music, um, and I should have. Okay. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna grab my headphones because I think there's some distortion and I want to clear that up. So let me grab my headphones and then you have 2 minutes. I'm here. You still have about a minute remaining. I'm working on mine. Um, Not that you want to watch me do this, but if you're not doing it, then you can watch me solve my own. Is how's the sound? Still distorted? Headphones helping? Talk to me. So this is what I mean when I say solve just one side. Mm, I'm sorry, I'm not in the camera. There we go. Uh-huh. So why are we doing this exercise? This exercise is to challenge the way that you think, challenge the way that you believe your mind works, and get you to really lean into your zone of genius, really lean into being a little more intentional about getting active creatively. So let's move. You some of you told me you felt so let me ask you this. You said you felt your most genius in in teaching 3rd grade every time you work out. What happens in your brain when you feel that way? Like, what is the mental process that occurs when you feel, um, your most creative self? So let me tell you what happened for me. Frustration initially, very frustrated, and here's why I was frustrated, because it was one of those things where I felt like, "This just makes perfect sense. Why isn't anybody else getting this? Why isn't it being done this way? If you just change this one thing, if you just tweak this one thing, then this would then, make better sense. It would be more efficient, it would be more effective." When you feel that way, that is something in you that's, jarring you toward, like, this is what you're supposed to do. And when you have access specifically, I'm an educator, I'm always gonna speak from that lens. Specifically when you have access to youth, instead of going against the grain, it doesn't feel for me personally, it doesn't feel natural for me to go and stand in front of a group of kids and run my mouth. Doesn't feel natural. So, what does feel natural? I go in the classroom and I freestyle. What does feel natural? I go in the classroom with my cube. What does feel natural? Because now what I've done is I've created a genuine bond and a genuine interest where they look at this cube and they say, "Well, how do you do that so fast?" Or, "How did you learn to do that?" And now we generate a real conversation around something that they are now interested in. If you are in a space where you talk to people, specifically children, why are you leaving your genius on the table? And I really wish, and we're going to have a second conversation around this, maybe via Zoom, so that we can have a discussion about this. But you are brilliant. Whoever you are, whoever's watching, whoever's out there, you are brilliant. But it is your job, it is your responsibility to tap into your zone of genius and then give that to the world. You are doing yourself and the rest of the world a disservice by not tapping into that genius, and then offering that to the world, to the youth, to the future of whoever's supposed to be running behind you. If you don't give them that, then you own the responsibility of them not reaching their higher heights. For me, listen, I feel a little hypocritical because I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to anybody else, and I hate that this shifted over into like a lecture style, but I feel really passionate. Here's why. I know other people's futures that are tethered to my actions. And a little bit about myself. My parents were teenagers when they had me. I was born in the Bronx. I'm from the projects in the Bronx. And um, in order for me to move the way I was supposed to move, I had to move away from where I thought I should be. And when I stepped outside of that, out of my small world in the Bronx, in New York, and I moved, and I realized who I had to be is not who I have to be. And when I started to realize, like, "Oh, this is the one thing that continues to follow me." I continue to rap no matter where I am, no matter where I'm doing. I continue to have these conversations around education no matter where I'm at, no matter who I'm interacting. That's my genius. That's the thing that comes natural to me. That's the thing I don't have to prepare for. I can just talk about it at length. And I want for us as creatives to do more of that. If you know that you're supposed to be doing something, lean into it. I wanna watch you do that. I wanna it's like a movie, right? I wanna watch your story grow. I wanna like, "Oh, I was watching you on YouTube when, but now." Right? That's what I wanna do. And in order for you to do that, get your team together, tap into those folks that believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. A bunch of them on here, right here. My people are on here, they tell me every day, "What you doing that? Do more," or "I believe in you," or "Let me help you," or "This is not your strong suit, so let me get you into that." But if you're not operating from your zone of genius, then you are wasting time. You are wasting precious time, and it is an arrogant assumption to believe that you have more of it. You don't know the hour or the day. So if you wait until tomorrow, tomorrow may not come. E Every one of us is creative to create. Do that. and do that at the maximum, at the highest level, all the time. I'm helping myself too. I'm gonna hop on here. I'm gonna get more active about being, going live and things like that because I do believe that, and you can call it source essence. You can call it, I'm gonna. I love y'all over here at IG, but I believe it's causing issues, so I'm gonna leave, and then you can catch the live later, the recorded version. How's that? I ended the IG. Um, but you can call it whatever you want. I call it God. You can call it universe, source, whatever your preferred pronouns are. But I know that God put us here to create. I know that you were put here to create. And so let me leave you with this before we shift to the next portion. Um, if you want to build whatever you want to build a network, you want to build affiliations, you want to do those things. Be your natural, authentic self, and your natural, authentic self is is a creative. Whatever that looks like for you, create, create all the time, create often. Uh, as an MC, I can't leave you without talking a little bit about the rap side of it. The dopest thing. So I mentioned to my team that as an MC, specifically as a freestyler, right? I That's like the most genius I ever felt up until learning to solve the cube. And one of the things that Tony taught me through some of the workshops we've done together is you don't need like a stroke of lightning. You don't need candles and incense to find your inspiration. Sometimes you just have to sit down and force it. Like you just got to make it happen. So if that means you're writing, whatever, like make it happen. And so um as an MC, I was watching one of my students yesterday. He was freestyling, and so I found myself giving him tips because unsolicited advice is one of my strong suits. And he was freestyling and he got stuck like 3 lines in, he's stuck. And so I was giving him some tips and I was thinking to myself, this is a true skill, this is a true talent. And then I was also thinking to myself, how often do people actually utilize this and don't even realize they're doing it, like being able to create on the fly or move on the fly. And how many people are walking around like dragging their feet or with their head down or looking real like exhausted because they're unfulfilled. And I'm like, yo, if people really understood how to tap into their creativity without waiting for some stroke of lightning, um, like why like how much doper could everybody be? How much doper could our interactions be? And I'm not talking about like if you're from New York, you know what I'm talking about. People standing on the corner and freestyling, and then somebody's just starts rapping. I'm not talking about that, though that is enjoyable. But what I'm really talking about is like how do people really connect from the heart, right? And that happened with me and my student yesterday. That can happen anywhere in any environment, and given the opportunity to really tap into your own zone of genius, your own greatness, I guarantee you, and this is just my belief, you're not gonna find it in no dictionary nowhere. You're not gonna find it, you know what I'm saying? It's just my humble belief. It's also found because I would be remiss if I did not plug my book, Raps and Rubik's Cubes. But you cannot you cannot tap into your highest self without genuinely living in your creative self. It's not possible. This is just my personal belief. But I believe that the time I feel the most genius, and when I've had these conversations in the past, the times that individuals I've interacted with feel the most genius is when they are being creative, when they are allowed to create, when they have their Etsy store up, when they are knitting, when they are sewing, when they are rapping, when they're performing, when they're writing. I mean, the list is endless. If you don't know what that looks like for you, find a tribe, get you a tribe. And if you can't find a tribe, then go online, find some people on some of these videos you watch, and find them in the chat. Because I guarantee you, your life will level up exponentially once you start living in your creative self. That's all I got. Sorry, I got a little lecture-y. I am an educator, and I'm passionate about this particular topic because I want us all to live more fulfilled, and I want us to be in a more creative world. Hi, domo arigato. You can find me at Polaris on all the social medias. Um, uh, Let me see. Can I put that in the comments? Let's see. At Polaris. Nope, I can't put it in the comments, so somebody else gonna have to do that. But it's at Polaris on all of the social medias. And thank you kindly. Hey, hey, sis.
Hey, sis. Wow, amazing. Wraps and Rubik's Cubes. Who would have thought that those two things go together, first of all,
A bunch of
right?
people that weren't me that told me.
There you go. But I love you said something, I think it was close to the beginning about just like sometimes there's different passions or different things, and I'm paraphrasing that you
Mhm.
wouldn't necessarily think would go together, but like it's all of you, right? So we all have different things within us that make us us. So not having to kind of be in one space or be in another space, like being comfortable just coexisting with these different things, right? So
Exactly.
I love that. Did you want to expand a little bit? Like, did you feel maybe if you started talking about Rubik's cubes that it would take away from the MC aspect of you? Did you have to kind of plan out how you were going to put it together?
So initially, so I'm an MC. I've been rapping since I
Yes.
was 7 years old. I've been freestyling, excuse me, performing since I was 13. I've been freestyling for 20 plus years. So I have always existed in that space, and I still
Hmm.
had a hard time putting the education side of me together with the MC side of me. When I learned to do that, the Rubik's Cube part came naturally because that came
Mm.
after I learned to fuse the MC and the educator. And as such, anytime, and you bore witness,
Witness.
anytime somebody would like, if you even look at the cube, I'll put it right in your hand. And I believe
Right.
that's the key to any form of creativity or education. It's just hand it
Mm.
over. Give it to the person and let them figure out what they want to do with it. If you hand somebody a ball of clay, everybody's not going to come out with the same masterpiece, but it's
Right.
what's true to them.
Yes, I love that. And you are so masterful in so many areas, in these two areas that we're talking about in particular, right? And I love that you're also so generous with what you do know and what you do have. And like you said, just hand it over to that person who you see the sparkle in their eye or whatever that may
Mhm.
be. You know, I think you shared a lot of gems today, and I love how you talked about your foundation and your upbringing a little bit and being from the Bronx, right? Because I
Mm.
think being from New York City in general just ignites a whole different
Right?
sort of hustle and passion from
I feel different.
it. So tell me a little bit about what's your intention with your work. Like I heard the passion, I
Mhm.
heard the stories, but give us give the people what is the intention of your work? What kind of legacy do you want to leave?
Absolutely. And I love that you use that word intention because that is the name of the program we've built, the Intentional Movement Project. And the idea behind the work is to move with intention, literally, like the title says, intentional movement. Um, like I said, I'm an MC, I'm an educator, and my passion is to ignite something in other people that ignites that reveals their own zone of genius to them, and particularly in youth, but oftentimes when I have conversations with other people, just me taking a Socratic approach to asking questions, answering questions with
Mm,
questions, makes people think like, oh, you know what? I never thought of it that way. So my legacy, I do believe, is in my ability to both educate and perform, but also to tap into um, allowing people to have these safe spaces to reveal their genius with no pushback, with no judgment. I mean, just like honestly, when I was a kid, I was often told, "Anybody ever tell you talk too much?" And I was one of those kids that got that on my report card. And
mm,
being clipped like that, what does that do to you as an adult when you try to revert back to a space where now you need to speak, but now you're self-conscious because you talk too much? And
mm,
so I believe
yeah.
that my legacy will be in taking somebody's what was meant to be venom and making it a gem for them.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I know you work for the future generations, but you healing
You
some
know,
adults in this space as
that's
well, healing
that's
the
the
inner
prayer.
child, and
That's the
I
prayer.
think that's part of your legacy as well.
This is kingdom work,
Um,
sis.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I love that you said that. Actually, talk to us a little bit about, those times when you are maybe a little bit doubtful or that voice comes to your mind. Like, how do you transform or how do you affirm yourself? I know we're part of a community, right?
Right,
Where
for
it's
sure.
like our notion, but when you are in that space of solitude and you need to reassure yourself and affirm yourself and be like, I'm a genius. What? I wrote raps
Right,
and
right.
Rubik's cubes. You ain't never heard of that.
Um, you know what? We're creatives, right?
Mhm.
And so we live in this constant state of a dichotomy of I do this for myself, I don't care, and I need the audience to like it. I hope they like it. Right? We live in this constant towing that line. And so
Yeah.
when I find that I'm like completely down, it's hard, but I try to have conversations with my students and or my
Mhm.
children. I'm a boy mom. I meant to say that in the beginning. Shout out to my babies. And I try to have conversations with them because recognizing myself in them is what reminds me that she's still there.
Yeah.
The little me in third grade and second grade, she's still there. And she's excited and she's giddy and she wants to rap and she wants the people to clap. And well, the Leo in me wants that too. Um, so that's where I have to go. I have to find myself in the babies,
Mhm.
and in me encouraging them, I am in turn encouraging myself.
Yeah. I love that, and I do want to also say I did the Rubik's Cube simulator. I got, like, 7 out of 9 of the colors on one
Okay, okay.
side before
What
I
was
was
your
like, "Ugh."
what was happening in your mind?
Well, um, I wanna be a genius.
I do
No, but no, on a serious note, I was thinking about it because I've done this with you in person, or I'm like trying to get one. I don't know. I might have gotten one. I don't remember, but what comes to mind is like really like the more. Sorry, going back to something my mother said when I was very little that I still remember. I was saying I was talking about how something was hard, and she was like, "Nothing's hard. It just takes practice." Right. And I
Mhm.
was really, really young when she said that. And I still remember it to this day because I think I function that way in a lot of things. I know that if I put myself into it, if I dedicate myself to it, then I'm able to do it, and so I feel that way about that. So I was like, if I really spent the whole day, I know I could get all of the sides, if I really, and obviously with some coaching by Polaris, but
You
but
know
I,
what's
I
funny?
also thought about, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm glad you said that because I talked to
The people want to
I could do that. I talked to I lost my thought because that was funny. Oh, so one of the things that I do when I hand a person a cube is I'm watching with intention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I'm on it. But one of the things I do is I hand it with attention because I'm watching. And what I'm watching
Mhm.
is not how you're cubing. What I'm watching is what your process is. I
Yeah.
think too many of us don't know how we learn. And so that's a whole other seminar for a whole other day. But
Right.
in
Part two.
learning how you learn, that's another way to reveal your own genius, is
Hmm.
finding that thing that is challenging. So much like your mom, one of the things I always say is nothing is hard, it's only challenging. People rise to a
Hmm.
challenge, people run away from hard. And
Yeah.
so it's only challenging. And it's only challenging
Hmm.
until you practice. So whenever my students are like, how did you learn to do it so fast? I'll give you an example. Let me tilt my screen a little bit. Uh,
Hmm.
Oop, got stuck. Ah, it's stuck. That was slow.
Oh.
But anyway, um, and anytime a students or when I'm in the cafeteria, random students that are not my own, but different grades, and they ask, "How
Yeah.
did you learn to do that so fast?" Practice. That's all I tell them. Practice. I don't want you to think there's some magic trick. I want you to
Hmm.
know that you too can do whatever. And a lot of people think if you can solve a cube, you must be like the smartest person in the world. No, I was just very dedicated to learning. That's it. And my
Hmm.
family suffered and had to eat cereal for probably 2 months
Hmm.
because I wasn't cooking, I wasn't doing nothing. I was just like, I'm on it. I'm gonna learn this, and I had to learn it well enough to teach it.
Right, right. No, I love that. Thank you so
All right,
much,
so
Polaris. I
let's
love that
see.
you asked. I want to congratulate you on your book.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. I
Congratulations.
appreciate
I
that.
want to
Raps and Rubik's
congratulate you as
cubes,
offering it.
leveraging
Yes.
creativity to unlock genius.
Available where?
Amazon, Amazon.
Amazon. There you
Yes, or
go.
you can buy it directly from me.
There you
I'm at
go, beautiful
Polaris on all your
people.
social media. I'll sign it
That's
and all
right.
that.
Tell them. And I know the people want to hear freestyle, so I'm
All
gonna
right,
let you go and I'm gonna let you do your thing before we
let's do it.
close. Thank you so much, Polaris.
All right, let's see. We're gonna freestyle. So, I need to. What am I rap about? All right, let's just rap about today's topic. Let's do it. Here we go. I don't have no music, but let me slide back so that you can see the cube while I'm cubing. And it's like, yo, tap into your own mind, learn. When I do this, yo, you know that I discern the way that I freestyle, the way that I rap. I do this hip hop boom bap. I hit the freestyle flow while I cue. Matter of fact, you know I'm not new to this, a noob. I'm a genius and the zone that I flourish in. I move, you know, I'm trying to encourage them to do the best that they can in their minds. Matter of fact, I do this by design. I rhyme like a girl and I am so intentional. When I move, you know I gotta do this. And I mention you in my mentions, the gifted MC, because when I freestyle flow, you know that this can't be done any other way, but it's here right now. And a matter of fact, I'm gonna leave you with this like a wow, like two W's and an O in the middle. When I do this, you know I must fiddle. It's the ADHD and my mind do skip. But when I do that, you know I do this. I am quite smart, but you are too. So tune in to the next time we move or the next time we cipher the lyrical meditation. Because when we do this, it ain't no vacation. It's all in your mind. It's and don't get jealous. You know why? Because we all have access to wellness. Something like that. Listen, it's been my honor. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for listening to my passionate rant um, on this subject. I love what I do, and I love y'all. Thank you.
Yes,
Tony
yes,
Blackman in the building.
yes. Polaris in the building. What? Yes,
Listen,
yes, yes. This is exciting.
right?
It's
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 nice to
it's
take this
it's
conversation from the text.
it's always lovely to witness the manifestation when someone is a friend you care about has told you their vision, and then you get to see them in action, manifesting and implementing the vision with intentionality.
Intentionality.
It's a beautiful thing. And when Rhyme Like a Girl was on tour, one of the things we went to Botswana, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, and one of the things that we noted was when Polaris pulled out the Rubik's Cube, not only the students would surround her, but a lot of the teachers.
Oh yeah. There was the one guy who broke out his cube
Oh
and
yeah,
he
pulled it
he
out.
took his cube out. I was like, uh-oh.
So
I love that.
and that's when I said, "Oh wait, there's something here." Yeah,
Yes,
so I'm
yes.
really excited to be here and really grateful for you being willing to start your virtual explosion with the
Thank you
Lyrical
kindly.
Cipher podcast at the
Listen,
summit.
I want to make sure I leave folks with this. Raps and Rubik's Cubes is my way of tapping into my creative essence. It
Yeah,
is a metaphor for whatever it is that you do creatively that can broaden your life, your scope, your interactions. That's all that's about. For me, it's Raps and Rubik's Cubes. For you, the opportunities are endless.
yeah, yeah. And I like the idea of honoring your genius,
That's it.
tapping into it and utilizing your creativity to do so. I think that this is so tied to wellness and well-being, emotional well-being, mental health, which then impacts our physical health. And that's what the LMC Virtual Summit is all about. It's about the art and wellness, mindfulness,
Hmm.
meditation, and movement. And tomorrow we'll be looking at all of those things in
Yes.
addition to breathing and breath work with Coach
I'm
Takia.
loving it.
Um, join us tomorrow. Come get grounded. Come get centered. Come harmonize your body and have an experience. And they already know I'm very excited about this journey that we're on together. Season 2 will be coming soon. We have some
Mm,
great guests. Same format with a little
a
tweaking.
little something
All
on
right.
it. Little something on it.
Yes. Amazing day 2. Absolutely. Absolutely. And a dope presentation. And thank you for tuning in. You can follow the Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast on Instagram at LMC_podcast. And you can follow Polaris at Polaris, the number 1. And Polaris is spelled Polaryss, number 1.
Polaris. No, just straight Polaris. Polaris.
Polaris, just
Yeah,
Polaris. Okay,
just
just
Polaris.
straight Polaris. So follow her, straight Polaris on Instagram,
Word.
and reach out to her if you're interested
Please
in learning
do. Let's chop it up.
about the Rubik's Cube or about her sessions. I think it's a great opportunity. All right, y'all. Wraps and Rubik's Cubes available on Amazon and at your friendly neighborhood digital bookseller, and you can buy them directly from Polaris as well. All right. I'm Tony Blackman signing out. We want to shout out to Kia, Coach Takia, who has been our tech guru for the production, our producer for this LMC Virtual Summit, from helping to plan out the outline and make it all make sense, and creating the landing page. When I tell you the brilliance amongst the cipher. I was going to call it my cipher, but really it's our cipher, all of us who are in it. And sincerity showing up as interview extraordinaire. It's just a glorious thing. And I'm really proud of my team, proud of my squad, and glad to be a part of it. So if you ain't got a squad like this, you better get you some. Mhm. All right. Happy Saturday. Have a great rest of the afternoon, rest of the evening. I'm here in Dakar, Senegal. The sun is about to set, and I'm going to take a walk. Bye, y'all.
Peace.